Welcome everybody to Forza Horizon 4, and today we're taking a look at the 1959 Ford Anglia 105E. Now the Anglia was produced between 1939 and 1967, with this 105E produced between 1959 and 1967, with more than 1 million of this 105E made. And yeah, as you can see, it's got quite American influenced styling. And yeah, only the deluxe versions had this full width slanted chrome grille, as you can see, which yeah, definitely gives it its distinctive American styling, as well as those headlights, which, to be honest, without that grille you'd think it was a Chevy Bel Air or something like that. But yeah, you could also get this in a version as an estate and a panel van, but this is a two-door saloon. And yeah, this shares several similarities with the Morris Minor 1000, which we've also reviewed on this game and which was out around the same time as this car. Outside of the styling, they're both lightweight, they're both rear-wheel drive front-engine cars, they're both quite simple in terms of interior and in terms of general drivability, and yeah, they were both cheap at the time. So yeah, the Morris Minor was the competitive car of the time against this car, but this car outsold the Morris Minor by quite a fair bit. And yeah, it's easy to see why in terms of interior, because there's just generally more in here for you to use, and general more comfort in here as well, because you've got your heater, you've got a glove box, you've got a more detailed instrument cluster, stuff that the likes of the Morris Minor did not have, at least in the 1958 version, which we've reviewed on this game. And yeah, another similarity between these two cars, they have a small engine. This has a 1 litre inline 4 engine, producing 39 horsepower and 52 pounds-feet of torque. So yeah, not a massive amount of power there, just like the Morris Minor, but like the Minor, it is also quite lightweight at 1,676 pounds, which is actually 88 pounds less than the Minor. So yeah, really rather quite lightweight. But yeah, still just as practical. Got a decent sized boot, and yeah, there's a decent amount of room in the back. Though I don't imagine headroom would be as good as a Minor, because it does have that slanted rear roof on it, which was there to help dissipate rain, because it didn't have a rear window wiper, as you can see, or a defogger. But nonetheless, let's get out onto the road and see what this cheap classic car can do. So, due to this Anglia having slightly more power than the Morris Minor, 2 extra horsepower and 4 extra pounds-feet of torque, while also weighing 88 pounds less, it's actually more sprightly in terms of acceleration. 0 to 60 in 30.5 seconds, which is 0.8 of a second quicker than the Morris Minor. Though I think due to gearing or maybe even aerodynamics, it's slightly slower at the top end at 75 miles an hour, whereas the Morris Minor can do 79 miles an hour. So yeah, slightly slower in terms of acceleration, but the lack of weight and the extra little bit of power does make for a slightly more enjoyable car to drive in terms of speed and handling, because you know, these cars, you know, had quite soft suspension, certainly didn't have the kind of handling of more powerful cars of the time, which makes it slightly, you know, enjoyable in terms of that regard. But as far as I'm concerned, this just doesn't look as appealing as a Morris Minor does, to be honest. And I know that's an opinion, you can disagree with me or not, or whether or not you think this looks better or worse than the Minor, but to me personally, that grille and the slanted roof just makes it look not very appealing as far as I'm concerned, especially the grille, which does look quite like a sad car, to be honest. And I mean, look at it, it just looks a little bit depressing. It doesn't look quite as perky or as quite as universally appealing as the Morris Minor does, which isn't a great looking car by any means, but it's, you know, a bit more friendlier to look at and a little bit less shiny. I'm not a fan of chrome at the best of times, let alone on a car that's supposed to be quite cheap and small and not very all about the frills. And yeah, at the end of the day, it just comes off like a small knockoff of an American car. So yeah, not a fan of the looks, but the acceleration and the wayward handling, which makes for some fun driving at times. As you can see, it is quite wobbly, but you know, if you're at speed and you truck it around, it can be quite a fun car. But yeah, like the Minor, it's just an underpowered but practical and cheap car, and you can't really ask much more out of something like that than to be decently accelerating. And yeah, you know, even though the motorway speed in the UK wasn't enforced in the late 50s, early 60s, it still was able to do the motorway speed that would come in the late 60s. So, you know, that's pretty much all you have to ask for in a car like this, to be honest. Motorway speed and get there in a decent amount of time is fairly decent. And obviously this car is notable for being in the Harry Potter films as well, which is one reason why this car has risen in popularity in the last 10 or so years. But me personally, I would rather have the Minor if we're going to go for a underpowered but practical and decent looking car, in my personal opinion. But I'm still glad that this is on the game. It is a British classic. It was and is an icon of British motoring. And yeah, to have cars like this on the game after all these years of not really having many classic British cars like this, especially more ordinary cars, it's just a joy to have it on. So yeah, I'm fine with it being in the game, and yeah, hopefully we get more 50s, 60s, more ordinary vehicles like this, to be honest. I would quite like a Ford Cortina 2000E, to be honest, on this game, which is the car that would properly succeed this vehicle. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what other British cars come on this game, and yeah, I look forward to reviewing them as well. Nonetheless, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.